Hello and welcome to SoBricks. I'm Adam and this is SoBricks. This is my channel for reviewing Lego sets and building them and other Lego related stuff. In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at the Lego Star Wars Planet Series 1, Sebulba's Podracer and Tatooine. This is set number 9675. It has 80 pieces, and I paid $35 for this set. This is a set from 2011, 2012. It probably retailed for $10 back in 2010, I would assume. Now it goes for, up around 30. I thought this was really interesting. I recently looked at the one that, what was it? I recently looked at one of these, and was it an X-Wing? No, it was a Falcon. No. Was it Anakin's Podracer? Maybe. Let me actually double check. Of course, it was the Naboo Starfighter. My mistake for just misremembering that. But so this is the second one in the series. That Naboo Starfighter and Naboo was 9674. This is 9675. Actually, when I did that video for the first of the Planet series, I had sort of mused out loud about or just kind of debated while speaking about the idea of maybe looking at more of these, and I decided I wanted to do that, even though that I know like some of these, especially once you get into like the later series, like the Snowspeeder and Planet Hoth, is quite expensive. The Tantive 4 and Planet Alderaan is quite expensive for what you get. I did decide to like embark on a mission to try and procure these sealed copies, and I'm going to be building them and reviewing them. This is interesting because Sebulba's Podracer was just in the diorama, the Podrace diorama, and scale wise this is probably pretty close to that one, and also interesting because it's got a Sebulba figure in it, which I believe has only been in a couple of sets. I think this version of the character has been in two sets, this one and another one that released around 2011 2012 that was Anakin's Podracer and Sebulba's Podracer. I actually don't know if there are other versions of Sebulba. Let me take a look, because that would be really interesting to see. We have, okay, there's one version, the second version. Okay, there's only two versions. There's one of them that is just all one piece, and then there's the one that's in here that is multiple pieces. The other version was from 1999 to 2000. It just came in one set, which was the Mos Espa Pod Race set. So kind of a rare figure. I don't think it's particularly valuable. This one was, it doesn't seem to be crazy valuable, but maybe slightly more than an average figure, and depending on the condition and everything like that. So that's interesting to see. It's certainly interesting for me because I've never had a Sebulba figure, so I'm looking forward to seeing this one here. And it looks like for a new one in the US, maybe $10 or something like that just for that figure. And so yeah, that factors into the price I paid for this. But either way, I'm excited to look at another one of these, and so that's what we're gonna do. So in this video, I'm gonna open this up, I'm gonna put this together, and then I'm going to share my thoughts on it while I build. I will speed the video up, and then I'll slow it back down to review this set. So until then, enjoy. Okay, so while we look at the build for this Lego Star Wars Planet Series 1 Sebulba's Podracer and Tatooine set, I just wanted to say thanks for watching, and then remind you, if you like this video, click the thumbs up. If you like my other videos, click the subscribe button. We're on the road to 2,000 subscribers, so if you're not subscribed, maybe consider doing it. I cover lots of different sets. I have a pretty consistent upload schedule, so if you like my videos, subscribe. It helps me a lot, it means a lot to me. And now on to my review for this set. Okay, so here we have the LEGO Star Wars Planet Series 1, Sebulba's Podracer, and Tatooine. This is great. Yeah, I am very pleased with this. I have to try and see. I don't know if I'm going to be actively trying to compare all of these at the time of recording this. I have also been embarking on a look through the Ultimate Nexo-Knights characters, and I thought it useful to be able to compare those to each other. So maybe I'll do the same for this series as well. And so before I get to that, I kind of wanted to go through this, and I don't remember the order in which I did this last time, but when talking about these sets, these planet series, I'm going to be talking about the planets themselves a great deal. So maybe I will start there, and I'm assuming that a lot of these are going to be very similar, so I don't want them to get too repetitive. Here we have Naboo, here we have Tatooine. So we have the different planets so far, and this is really, really interesting. So like the other one, we do use this octagonal piece for the bottom. We also have a option to put this on top, which is for maybe tying a string to, making this into some sort of ornament. This is the package that the bags of pieces come in. This is part of what's featured very prominently in the packaging. There's a special cutout for this in the box that allows for this to be kind of front and center there. And these are really, really interesting Lego pieces. They are big, they are strange, they have 4 studs up top, as well as maybe a Technic pinhole in there. The inside, they do technically have the anti-stud, or the bottom of a plate in there, so you could attach things to the inside of this. And then they have these little flaps and lips that can latch into each other, and they make it such that you can't just put this any which way. There's only certain, maybe 4 orientations where this works. You have to have those segments lined up every time, and so that's what these pieces are. Now these pieces are identical, so we can see the printing here is the same all the way around, but because you flip them over, I think they actually did a really, really nice job designing these, because here we have this part, and it kind of the darker area there matches up. Same for this area here, matching up here, this area here matching up here, and here. And that's true if we move this over. Now we have this area matching up with this stuff matching up, this all matching up. So those dark areas, pretty much no matter how you orient this, they're going to match up, which works really, really well. It means there's not weird sort of spaces where it looks like it's just totally land or other things just cuts off, or clouds just reach a hard stop. They did a really good job on this one there. I would say maybe a better job than the Naboo, just because the Naboo has some areas where the cloud coverage is pretty heavy, and some areas where it's not so much. So we do get some more kind of places where the seam is evident, and more things where I almost think it doesn't line up as well. This one for Naboo was also the same, the top and the bottom, so it did have some You could kind of change it around to try to obscure that, but I thought this was really, really good. Big pieces to produce, printed, multiple layers of printing, lots of different colors here. Obviously we can see the color that this is printed on, and this is all really, really good. There's several layers of different colors, and then also the clouds kind of on top. I think this is, you know, very different of a planet looking from Naboo to Tatooine, which is very cool. They clip together, super satisfying, pretty easy to pull these apart. Just a little bit of pressure on the side can get them to unlatch, so that's very good. And yeah, these are super unique. I don't know if they really have uses for mocks and other Lego builds and stuff like that, because they're so highly specialized. They're big, they're not especially convenient to attach things to, but there are some very creative mock makers out there, and so maybe they would be able to figure that out. And now that I'm thinking about it, how are these actually the same piece? Yes, they are. I'm just trying to see if I'm lining up the like plate, the studs. They are the same. So I don't know why that confused me for a second, but really, really unique. I think these are great. I think the idea for these being like kind of a collectible, the idea to have these as a storage thing, or like something that could be put on a holiday tree or hung up somewhere, and maybe even have a gift or something else inside. There's an element to it, like for like a scavenger hunt or like an egg search, where we could open this up and find stickers or temporary tattoos or candy or some other thing, or Lego, or something like that. So these are really, really cool, and I'm pleased with this one. I liked the Naboo one a lot. I think this one's very good as well, maybe slightly better, even if the colors aren't as, you know, diverse, just because the other one had kind of more of the blue and stuff going on. Just a very different landscape, a very different atmosphere for the kind of you know, planet look of this thing. So very cool to see, very happy with that. And this is of course down there to make this easier to set down and have be stable. The next thing I would like to look at is Sebulba, is the minifigure, because like I said at the beginning, not a super common minifigure. There have been, as far as I could tell, 2 versions. One of them where they are, Sebulba is all one piece, and then this one which has them in multiple pieces. So this is really unique. We do have the wrench here, so that is kind of in their front claw, hand, foot, leg type thing. And so 3 pieces here. The legs, or the arms rather, you know, there on either side are clipped on, and then the kind of body, which has this like C curve and then kind of this W, you know, bend for the different joints in their leg there, kind of makes this the thing. If you remember Sebulba from the Phantom Menace, that they were odd looking and they moved kind of in a unique way, even in terms of like, or in the universe of like Star Wars. So I don't know like what kind of person Sebulba is, or if there's like race or whatever in Star Wars, or you know, some type of alien creature. I don't know if any of those words are really appropriate to describe Sebulba, but I'm not sure what type of person Sebulba is to give them some kind of name, like for example like a Gungan or something like that. But this is really interesting. So 3 pieces. The legs are pretty much the same. I thought they were dual molded. They are not, but it does have directions to make sure not to put the legs on backwards. We can see one side doesn't have like the texture here and has kind of the toes would be facing towards the inside. We want the toes kind of facing to the outside. The instructions do have a specific call out to make sure we are putting these legs on right. So we want the part with the texture out here, all those different ridges on the arms, we want those to be on the outside. So we clip those on. If we look at the rest of Sebulba here, do have the bar elements up there, but this is a really good design. Now, I thought this was dual molded too. After looking at it, I don't believe it really is. Unfortunate that we can kind of see the seam here and where, you know, the printing didn't happen. So that's where two sides of this kind of came together. And so no like dual molding throughout there, unless that's specifically supposed to be like there are two legs there. I don't really know. This is all one piece though, so maybe that seam or that separation is intentional. I'm not 100% sure. We do have the clip at the end for like the hand there, which is nice. There's some good kind of layers, overlapping areas throughout there. The body is very, very small, and the head and neck are kind of big and curved a lot. So have some nice ridges back here and different molded in detail, kind of have some maybe ears or some I don't know what else we would call these, the kind of crown on Sebulba there, the ridge up on the top, and then it really detailed throughout the other parts. So on the side here, this little part that is printing kind of that pinkish bluish color there, that's really, really nice. Same on the other side, has some molded details in there as well. And then the face itself is quite good. So we have the printing in the eyes. I don't know, they're not really supposed to be goggles. I think they're just eyes, but those are really, really nice. And then the molding and printing for the mouth shape is very good as well. So kind of on the bridge of the nose, we have a bit of printing there. And overall, the shape for the mouth is pretty detailed just in the mold itself. So I think this is a really good character there. There's not a ton that can be done with it necessarily, but it's good. It can stand on its own. It's pretty well balanced. Of course, if it was studded down, that wouldn't be an issue, but you can have it stand up on a flat surface like this, and you can also have it with the wrench accessory also like that. If it's studded down, you can kind of have it maybe in some different positions, which is really good. So if I stud it down here, then I don't worry about them kind of being too forward heavy there, or, you know, leaning back too far. But like I said, if you go back and look at how they move in the Phantom Menace, this might make a bit more sense. So not a ton of articulation, you know, the head and the body and the kind of arm or leg out at the front is sort of all molded together, is all stationary, and we just have those two arms or legs that they can sort of stand on there. I'm super happy to get this. I think it's pretty well designed and kind of an interesting interesting character they haven't done in minifigure form very often. So cool to get that here. And then the next thing I wanted to look at, actually, besides the planet, besides the figure, and besides kind of the main build here, is the placard with the print on there. So these are in all of the Planet series sets, and we have the Lego Star Wars emblem there. It's a 4x4 with just the 4 studs on it, so it's mostly a tile, but a little bit of a plate there at one end. And then we have some different like printing for the ship, so Sebulba's Podracer, the character Sebulba, and then the planet Tatooine. And that's the same with the other one here, which is the Royal N1 Starfighter, Naboo Pilot, and Naboo. And so all of these come with that printed tile, which just adds into the kind of specialized pieces for these sets. You know, besides just the planet pieces themselves, we also get this printed tile here, which, you know, for UCS stuff, I think some of them were stickers in the past for like the display placard or the info or whatever, and then some of them were prints, and then I think there was a commitment to say like for the UCS level stuff they would always be prints. I'm not sure if that's 100% accurate or not, but you know, back in the day when this was coming out in the 2010 to 2012 kind of era, I want to say, or I guess, yeah, 2012 is about right. They were printing all of these, and I imagine throughout the Planet series, these were all printed. So we get the actual planet pieces. They are big. They are specialized. They have printing on them. Then we have the like special figure. We got the special printed piece here as well. And then the main build of this set is Sebulba's Podracer. So like I said, this is actually, they recently did this in that diorama. And I think this one's actually a bit bigger than the diorama version. I unfortunately don't have the diorama one, you know, very near me to be able to compare them. Normally I would go get it, but that's more complicated than it might sound like right now. It's just, I think I'm 99% sure I took that set apart, which is rare for me to do, but I did in this case. But if you're familiar with that diorama set for the Mos Espa pod race diorama scene, we did build like a micro version of this, which is similar in some ways. I thought this was interesting. So to start off, we have a couple of the clear plates and this clear kind of bar piece. I don't know. I think this piece was used in a Podracer sets. I have them from back in the day. They're kind of an interesting shaped piece. They have a couple studs over here, round area. They have like a stud up here, anti-stud there, anti-studs, other spots. Just an interesting piece that I don't know what it's called. So we put that together. We build the actual like, well, I'm never sure if the cockpit is the pod or the pods are like the engine assemblies. But either way, we have where Sebulba would sit back here. So the colors are really good. We have this orange color. It uses the kind of camera-like piece for the base of it. A couple clips on the side for little extra detail there. And this all feels really good. It's all just studded on here with one stud. And then we have a spot, the little stud there is maybe where Sebulba is, and then we build the front kind of thruster engine or pods or whatever we call these things. And Sebulba's is really interesting compared to like Anakin's, for example, or compared to other ones. It had these really, really big kind of constructions, things up at the front. So Anakin's were like, you know, similar maybe in length, but not nearly in like height or mass or anything. Anakin's was a little bit different, where these would sort of be more like a barrel throughout here, and then have the kind of foils or the flaps kind of going out the front. So this one is a little bit different. These actually also start with the kind of camera piece there, so we can see it coming out the front. That camera piece has the anti-studs on the bottom and it has studs on both sides. They are hollow studs, so they're connected with these lightsaber pieces, which are nice. I think those are purple, and so that's a really nice color. It's kind of, I don't know if it's Mace Windu's or if it's a new color. It almost looks purple or pink to me. I don't believe it's blue. If it's some other color, please let me know, but that's what connects these together, which is really cool. We use kind of the binocular piece there on the side for some detail, and then we build this out. We use like the torch piece, which has a bar element that feeds into the camera piece, and then has the kind of 4 bars there with the stud in the middle. We put a little cone in there, and then we build these sub-assemblies for these, I don't know, I'm calling them like foils. I don't know if they are, but these kind of bigger wing type things, almost giving it that X-wing sort of look, because it almost like makes an X there. So these are really simple sub-assemblies that are nice. We use the vented gray pieces on the front, the like stacking of some clip pieces in there, inverted slope piece, just a regular brick, regular plate, super basic. Those get clipped on. They can be, you know, articulated to try to get the kind of angle of these parts of this right. I think, you know, kind of going to the limits here is pretty good, depending on if, you know, this was being used with in play or something. If it was going to be like set down, it might be worthwhile to try to use the weight up at the front and also use the articulation up there to kind of get extra points of contact with the surface that is being, you know, played on, or where this is around. It really is all coming down to like one stud for the base here. But it is pretty well balanced. I mean, right now, the back is off of the surface, and so are the wings up here, or the pod extensions up here are also not touching the ground, and it's sitting just fine. Of course, we can also stud this down, and then we get the very basic kind of display base that I sort of already showed because of the placard. And over here we have a jumper, and we can use that jumper to attach the Sebulba's Podracer to, maybe something like that. We have a little bit of area over here to attach Sebulba, get them something like that, and maybe the planet goes on a holiday tree or hanging in a, what do they call those, a mobile or a mobile, or used for some other purpose, or could sit behind there. And that's kind of the entirety of this set. So here's what it looks like with Sebulba next to it, with the placard there. I think this looks great. We can kind of position this to have it go at different angles. I think this is recognizable. I think the character is recognizable too for people that are like familiar with a somewhat minor character, but you know, a one that I think is well known enough. It's hard to say. I think they're only in one of the films. They're only in it for a relatively brief period of time, but they left their impact. And because the pod racing scene from the first from the Phantom Menace is like really popular, I guess, maybe the best part of that movie. I disagree, but I think that's maybe some of the sentiment. It's also very like funny, that scene. So Sebulba maybe has a place in the cultural kind of memory for Phantom Menace, and so I think this really works here. Comparing it to the Naboo with the Naboo Starfighter, so I already kind of showed this one. The stand is basically the same. We still have the figure up here, and looking at the scale of the Sebulba figure to a normal minifigure or just this Naboo pilot minifigure, pretty similar in scale. Looking at the ships, the Naboo Starfighter and the Podracer, Sebulba's Podracer. Now in universe, I don't know actually how big these are in relation to each other. I would want to say the Podracer is probably smaller, but it's hard to really tell. I think the scale of ships in Star Wars is kind of I don't know how meaningful it is. There are little ships that go very far off surface. There are big ships that are like surface, like planet surface kind of fairing, and there's all different stuff in between. There of course are really huge super star destroyers, Death Stars, all sorts of stuff like that. There are really tiny ships, and so I don't really know, but in terms of like these sets, we're pretty close in scale here. The Sebulba's one uses more pieces than the Naboo Starfighter. The Naboo Starfighter also does have a little kind of stand with this tube piece in there, and it uses a Technic piece instead of just a jumper plate to attach to this, which is just a little difference there. They end up, looking really similar in terms of height next to each other, like where they are on the display is pretty similar. It's just that the Podracer has a little bit of extra stuff there, so the stand doesn't need that. And I think these look great together. I mean, I really, really like this. It's similar to the Nexo Ultimate characters. There's like the built-in displayability here. They could be played with. None of them are minifig scale. They do come with a minifig, but this really feels like they're display oriented. And in that way, I think they're really fun. I think they're super collectible. Really interesting time for Lego to be producing stuff like this, to do the prints, to do the specialized pieces here. I think is a time that, I find it, I would call it very unlikely that we see Lego like do something like this again with collectibles, and Lego becoming more of a collectible because of gift with purchases and exclusive sets and all that stuff. Maybe that they were, I said last time for the Naboo video, maybe they were a little bit early on the game to try to do like toy collectible stuff, but I think the market for collectible toys just ebbs and flows in a big bad way that maybe makes it never a safe bet to do that stuff. I don't know. Before Funkos popped off, maybe they were, around for a while, and now maybe the market for Funko is going down, or Funko Pops, maybe it's going back up. I'm not really involved in that, but this has like an element of that to me, displayability, collectability, and I think it really delivers there. I'll show the extra pieces because you do get some for Sebulba and Sebulba's Podracer and Tatooine here. Just the orange plate, the orange cheese wedge, and the dark bluish gray stud there. So just those 3 pieces. And this set is 80 pieces. I paid $35 for it. It retailed for $10 in 2012. I think I paid $20 for the Naboo Starfighter, which seems, about right. This one I paid more for on brick set right now. It seems like the value new for this set, Sebulba's Podracer and Tatooine, they say $28.33 or about that. And the used is $14.40. When I looked on like Bricklink, I think cheapest one in the US for a sealed version of this, like the one I had, was right around $32, $35-ish dollars. I didn't get this from Bricklink. I got this somewhere else, but I decided that I wanted to look at some of these, and they had value to me that was like hard to quantify just in the raw dollar sense. These are something that like I want to keep and I want to collect, not because they're going to appreciate in value, especially now that they're built, but because I wanted to cover on the channel. I think they're really cool. They're small, they're displayable, and there's some way to get some interesting stuff, interesting pieces, interesting figures, and a look at an interesting time in the Lego group and Lego Star Wars history. So $35 is kind of a lot. It's definitely a lot for 80 pieces. Is this $35 of plastic right here? Absolutely not. But, the figure itself might go for about $10, depending on condition and everything else. I don't know if the planets really hold much value. Certainly the rest of the pieces in here, maybe besides the placard, are pretty common, not too difficult. It'd be pretty easy to like source all the pieces for this, and just kind of get them with Pick-a-Brick or something and be able to build this. But I think part of what makes this special is like the specific inclusions of the printed plaque, of the planet, of the figure. So while I think the build for this is really good, I like how it looks. It's a great scale. I like how it displays. It's really, even though it's the main build of this, it's sort of a side element to the rest of kind of the specialized stuff that makes these sets so intriguing to me. So I paid $35 for this one. It seems like other ones go for more. The TIE Interceptor and the Death Star, probably, you know, on Brickset, it says that one for new is 32, where it said this one was 28. That one used, it says about 21. X-Wing and Yavin 4, about 20. Twin pod car and Bespin, you know, not too much. ATST Endor, Jedi Starfighter Camino is 28. Republic Assault Ship in Coruscant is 35. TIE Bomber Asteroid Field 32. Snowspeeder and Planet Hoth 70. So like they do run a bit of a range, like I mentioned. Comparatively, this is like kind of right in the middle of where a lot of these ended up. Naboo is kind of on the lower end. The the twin pod Cloud Car and Bespin is on the lower end for you know, purchasing these sealed in 2025, you know, long after they had been produced and retired. These are, you know, over 10-year-old sets at this point, so I do expect to pay a little bit of a premium there, and I'm assuming some of these other ones, whether it's the figure or some other element of it that drives the price up, you know, this far post-retirement. I'm not sure entirely why that is, but it's interesting, and I'm excited to continue to look at these. I'm going to try to get some more of these. Maybe I'll kind of go in order if possible, but we'll sort of see. You know, I'm comfortable with the deal I got for this one. It wasn't really a deal. I'm just comfortable with the price I paid. $10. If this set was on the shelf for $10 in 2025, I think that would be a great deal. I find it unlikely that this would be $10 in 2025 from Lego, but maybe. And one of the things I talked about last time, like, is this more than a poly bag? Is this more than 2 poly bags? Is this more than or better than a collectible minifigure? And there's many different ways to slice that and try to break that down. I think the answer is yes. So $10 seems like a good price, potentially in 2012 and 2013. $10 for this seemed like a big ripoff. The price per piece for all of these is a little bit strange, but price per piece kind of doesn't account for minifigures in the same way, doesn't account for big pieces like this, and also the retirement age. So I'm all that is to say that I paid a lot for this. I paid more than 3 times its retail price, 12 or 13 years after it retired. And I'm, okay with that, especially because it's still relatively on like the cheaper end of stuff. It's not like a $200 set that went up 3 times as much. It's a $10 set that went up to $30, $35. That's, in the grand scheme of things, okay for me. And I just am really interested in these, excited to look at some more if I'm lucky enough to be able to do that. Very grateful I was able to look at this one as well as the Naboo one. And I think that is it. Very cool. I like it. If you like this video, please click the thumbs up and give it a like. If you like my other videos, click the subscribe button down below so you can stay up to date on all the LEGO videos I'll be doing here in the future, including hopefully more of these LEGO Star Wars Planet series, other LEGO Star Wars stuff, the Nexonite stuff I talked about, Chima stuff, Disney's tons of different stuff, sets from all different themes, old sets, new sets, retired sets, big sets, small sets, lots of different stuff. So subscribe so you don't miss any of my upcoming LEGO videos. We are on the road to 2,000 subscribers. If you want to support the channel, subscribing is a great way to do it. It is free to subscribe. And when we get to 2,000, if we get to 2,000, with your help, I'll do a giveaway for that milestone. That would be incredible. It means a lot to me. Thank you very much. If you're not subscribed, maybe consider subscribing. I appreciate it. And then if you want to support the channel in a different way, in a more direct way, you can financially support the channel. You can give money to the channel on YouTube with membership, supers, and thanks. There's also the Patreon. It's linked in the video description, patreon.com/SoBricks. There's also a Buy Me a Coffee link. There's also affiliate links in there, so you could click on one of those links, buy something you want for yourself, and by using that link, I might get a fraction of a penny, and you don't spend anything extra to, get something you were already going to buy. So that's kind of a unique way to do it. I don't have a ton of experience with that because I don't know if anybody has done that or used any of that yet, but anything to kind of try to prop up the channel a little bit more, I'm gonna sort of try, at least as long as it's within my comfort level. So that's where I am with that. Maybe consider checking those things out. It helps a lot. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much. And with all that said, until next time, thanks. Bye.